Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who is wondering what these sacks piled in the middle of this, well, not clearing, courtyard, that's what they call it in towns, is about. Like, are they packing? Does it normally look like this? Do they normally have sacks of food sitting around in the middle of the courtyard? Is this just like normal housekeeping practice here in Stoke? Or are they evacuating? I can't remember if they're evacuating. I know there's some, there's concern up here and like the town is under attack. Oh boy, talk about marching in lockstep, those two. Those two are more than joined at the hip. Wow. Okay, the guardsmen are close here. Okay. Good morning, everybody. So glad to be back here with you guys as Gryfflet is trying to remember what he was doing. Oh, yes. Searching for a needle in a haystack. That's what he was doing. Searching for some sign of Wormtongue's ally who's somewhere we just don't know where. That's it. So, we're looking... Did I see something in the bushes over here? I'm looking for I don't know what, I don't know where. So that's always kind of a fun thing to do. Was there a goodery thing back there? Did I miss it? I saw, like... Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Pardon me. I'm getting lost in watchtowers here. Oh, wait. Ah. Oh ho. Footprints. Oh, yes. Booted footprints. Okay. That's it, huh? What direction are they facing? That way, huh? Alright, let's continue looking for booted footprints. Is there anything that particularly singles out these particular footprints as, you know, do Wormtongue's allies wear a particular kind of boot or something? I mean, like, footprints in a town, why would that be particularly noteworthy or suspicious? Huh. Oh, the trail has gone cold, seemingly. Oh, well. Let me see. Huh. Maybe they're sneaking off this way. I guess I'll just keep walking around. So I might as well answer a lore question. Since I'm kind of wandering hopelessly around looking for I don't even know what I'm looking for. Let's see. Tomas, I promised I'd get to your long question this week, and I totally will. I'll just answer Tony's first because it's quick, and I don't know how much time I'm going to have before I find more mysterious boot prints. So Tony was asking, he says, this might be an odd question, but I've been doing my yearly reread of The Lord of the Rings, and it struck me that no one in the Fellowship other than Sam is described as carrying a backpack. Did I miss something, or are they actually letting Sam and Bill carry all their food and bedding and stuff? First of all, I find that really a funny concept, you know, like, for, like, the whole Fellowship, you know, Aragorn, Gandalf, and everybody just being like, well, it's a given that Sam's going to carry all the stuff, right? So, no, I think they all have packs. That's explicit, of course. The one time that is explicit, and I don't remember, well, hang on, I'll come back to that. The one time that is explicit, that everybody else is wearing backpacks, is when the three hobbits, Pippin, Frodo, and Sam, are going from Bag End to Crick Hollow. Frodo comments on the heaviness of his pack at that point. So it's explicit that they're all three of them carrying backpacks there. And in Parth Galen, it's Aragorn talks about being able to distinguish Sam's packs from the other packs because it was rather large and heavy. So it seems clear by implication that the rest of them also still have packs as well. But nevertheless, I still think that there's a really interesting observation there. So Tony, I think it's actually still kind of a legit observation nevertheless. Hang on a second. Let me look at this pile of leaves, which is extraordinarily suspicious. A pile of leaves that has been scattered by what may or may not have been the wind. Okay. Boy, I am full of clues here. That just again leads me almost nowhere. What direction are we headed? Out? Have I detected... Boy, still with the sparkling on these, huh? Shall I examine more closely? No. To the same result. Okay. I'll continue searching. Oh, wait. By this breach in the wall, I find a helmet. A discarded helmet. But whose? Okay. Oh, well. Oh, hey. Hey, kid. What do you think? Ooh. Oh, hang on. Got to put my earbud in. It's not so good. Hang on a second. I want to make sure. Good to have my audio set up properly. Okay. Are you looking for the man who dropped that helmet? I saw him come back for it, but when he saw me, he ran. I followed him for a while, but he kept running west of town, and I think he might have been looking for the orcs. I could tell he was trouble. Did I do the right thing? If I see him again, I'll tell you or Reeve Fríthild. You had better tell her who I am, so she'll let me into the Mead Hall. My name is Adguth. Adguth. That's a great name. And I've lived here in Stoke my whole life. My mother says I need to stay inside the walls. That's the only reason I didn't follow that man and bring him back for the king's justice. I knew he was a villain. You tell Reeve Fríthild that I'll let her know if I see him again, all right? Promise that you will. Oh, I totally will, man. You deserve all kinds of credit for, actually enabling me to stop looking for absolutely incomprehensible clues. All right, I'll go talk to Reeve Fríthild. Tell her about the intimidating barricades that Gryfflet built last week, and then the result of his extremely thorough investigations of the landscape of Stoke. Anyway, but Tony, so I was saying the reason that I think that it's a good observation nevertheless is I think it's not a coincidence that Sam is the one. Well, I was going to say it two ways. I was going to say that Sam's pack is the only one mentioned, or one could just as easily say that Sam's the only one who talks about his pack, which is, of course, one of the primary places that we hear it discussed. I don't want to stand on her food while talking to her. That would just be rude. I don't think that's a coincidence. That seems to me entirely befitting Sam's character, that Sam is much more kind of pragmatically concerned. The others have packs, but Sam is the one whom we catch fretting over his pack and thinking if he packed everything that he needed. And of course, later on, we know, we learn about his pans and his salt supply and things like that that he's carrying in his pack. What are the others carrying in their packs? The only thing we learn are things like the extra pipe that Pippin carries around his neck, in a neck pouch. We don't really learn about the contents of his backpack. So I think it does tell us something about Sam's kind of focus as a character. You know, both his more practical focus and his, I mean, yes, he is a servant, like by, you know, status and job, essentially. But he's also a servant by choice, you know, by vocation, basically. And this is the kind of thing that he definitely thinks about. Now, Phil asks the sensible question, did they have towels? Yeah, great question. I have to assume, I mean, Sam strikes me as a guy who knows where his towel is. Right. I mean, maybe it's just me, but it says that Frodo's apparently not carrying anything in his pack since Sam had to remember most of Frodo's stuff. Edith, that passage always makes me envious. Like, I really wish, for lots of reasons, but I really wish, like, I had a Sam Gamgee to follow me around and remember all the things that I'd forgotten. I totally, like, I'm right there with Frodo. All right. What's your name? Fríthild. Fríthild, yeah.
Will you help my people?
I believe I know what must be done, though I dare say I am concerned that it may not be possible. Okay.
Will you help my people?
Okay. You hesitate to do what needs to be done? Oh dear. If we are to send aid to Theoden King, we must first break the siege upon Stoke. You're under siege? I didn't even notice that. How did I not notice that? I mean, obviously you've been attacked and parts of your walls have been burned, but I didn't know you're like actually under siege at the moment. Okay, we must muster the Thanes of the Broadacres, and I have no doubt that they too face the threat of assault. Nevertheless, it must be done. Speak with Grimmar, and he will provide you with the signets to take to my Thanes. Each signet bears the crest of their households, and they will know that it means we are in dire need of aid. Not far to the northeast lies Oserley, where dwells Ordlac. It is settled on an embankment leading down to the Entwash, so they may have not yet seen the smokes of the fires here. Ordlac is a pleasant fellow, and likely will be the most ready to join our cause. You should go to him first. Awesome, we're going to rally the Thanes? That's fantastic. I'm excited about this, Fríthild. I love this plan.
You say this child saw the man for whom you seek.
Totally,
He
yeah.
has joined the orcs?
I would like to meet Adguth and speak with her myself. My hall will be open to her as well. Fantastic. She's your greatest ally in this town. If this man you pursued from Edoras has joined the orcs, the danger he poses has turned from a secret one to a threat we here in Stoke know all too well. We have been endangered by the ravages of orcs and their half-orc brethren for many months now. Okay. I get a hat. Let's see. Let's see, there's one agility hat. Yeah, I'm gonna get the one with a little bit more vitality here. A little heavier on, a little heavier on the vitality.
Orcs have launched attacks on Stoke before now, but we must not remain idle.
Right, we've always fended off their assaults. If this secret foe you chased here is as canny as he seems, he might be able to help the orcs attack more effectively. The camp is called Barad Doram in their filthy tongue. Wipe the land clean of its foul inhabitants and see if you can find any sign of their plan. So I have a question, Fríthild. If I'm going to go to the camp by myself and wipe them out single-handedly, what are the Thanes going to do when we raise them? I don't know, but that's okay. I will leave that to you, Fríthild. We will do all the things. I'll wipe them out and then raise the Thanes. Or maybe I'll raise the Thanes and then wipe them out. Which should I do first? One's the epic, I know. Right, Phil, I agree. Wiping it clean. Apparently there are only 8 orcs living there. So it's a small but fearsome orc camp, apparently. Grimmar. Oh, you do look on the grim side. So Reeve Fríthild has decided to summon the Thanes. I recommended that she do so days ago, but I understand her concerns. It may well be that Ordlac and Tordag will be unable to come in time. Yes. Nevertheless, here are the signets of Oserley and Torsbury. Fríthild told you of Ordlac, but not of Tordag. The Thane of Torsbury is brave and a mighty warrior, but he is not the most clever man. Is he of little avail as a counselor, would you say, Grimmar? It took much for him to accept Fríthild, a woman, as Reeve when her husband perished, but since she broke his nose in a brawl, he has been a faithful retainer. See, broken noses are apparently growth moments for everybody, right? It's one of the things I'm learning up here in Stoke. Okay, may fortune smile upon you as you deliver these tokens. Go to Oserley first. Yes, sir. Okay. So I'm thinking I'm going to go to the Thanes first and then go to the camp just in case I get to go back and fight orcs and can double dip on that quest afterwards. Yeah, so the order of rank, the Reeve is the sort of regional commander. The Thane means, you know, he's the leader of that particular like town, basically. And the Reeve is the one who is the regional commander of like the whole group of Thanes. Okay. Do I have to go tell Adguth? No, I guess I don't. Okay, so Adguth will just somehow intuit that she has permission. All right, so I'm going to head off to Oserley. Whoa. Apparently I can kill orcs all over the place. Oh, they don't know that Torsbury is... I should show them my map to show them that Torsbury is already burned down. Yeah, looks like somebody's already broken his nose again for him, I'm afraid. Yikes. Okay. Well, that's sad. Okay. That'll be disturbing. Okay. Let's see. All right, Gryfflet. Can you make it out of town here? You and not Wayward. You and carry on. You know what I haven't gotten? I haven't gotten any bardings. I haven't gotten any you know, any horse cosmetics in Kingstead or anywhere on this side. I'm still wearing my what's it called? Hang on a second. What's the... I'm totally blanking. Sutcroft's. That's what I'm talking about. My Sutcroft's stuff. There was like nothing over here. Okay, so the town I'm not going to is over there. Ooh. Look at that ruin. Wow. That's where I'm not going. Yet. Okay, fine. And Oserley is over down this road this way. Okay. All right. Oriented now. All right. Oh, who's got the nice little stone wall? Is that... Okay, it's just a little farmstead. I'll just check in and make sure they're not all dead. Hello, the farmstead. Oh, yes, there we go. Pleasant conversation happening. We're standing around and chopping it up here in the courtyard while somebody... Hey, that hay is already in a perfectly serviceable stack. What are you scattering it around for? Well, you know your business best, I suppose. And you guys have a nice little silo with the obligatory pulley at the top and the pulley over here. You got an adequate number of pulleys. Look at your little chicken coops. Those are adorable. Not quite as elaborate as that one in Entwade, but you know, that one was a special winner. This is great. I love the little hatches. Those are adorable. Prop up there and take actually I think it's probably the same as the one in Entwade, but still. You prop up the little hatch and you pull out the eggs. It's like a convertible for the hens. Darling. Just darling. Oh, there's a wolf sitting right there. Should probably put my hat of invisibility on. There we go. Now the wolves won't notice me. It's a pretty good disguise, you have to admit. Okay, hang on. I'm going back to the road so I don't get lost. All right. There we go. So anyway... Yeah, no, I think I did actually finish Tony's question, so that was good. Okay, and that's Eoworth over there, the other side of the river. This must be Oserley up ahead. All right. Oh, this place is cute. Love the red trim and the split level effect of the town here. You know, this little kind of terrace up here with the... Oh, and a nice, like, willow tree sigil, huh? Yeah, because you're down by the river, and no, I like it.
I do not know if we will survive this onslaught.
Oh, you know... Oh, look at this guy. This guy looks like he means business. I don't know what his business is exactly. It's just kind of standing here to intimidate people who approach the stable master, I guess. All right. I'm looking around. We seem to be everything seems to be all right. Got a little bit of overgrowth here on the path. Might want to get out the weed whacker there. Ooh, what's this little house on the hill? This highly decorated house up on the hill. Is this the bar? This is the Mead Hall. It's adorable. Oh my goodness. That is just the smallest, cutest little Mead Hall ever. With all the little shields. Looking like convention pins stuck on the side of the darling little Mead Hall. Oh, that's just precious. Oh no, that's really cute. Really cute. Okay. Eoryc.
What brings you to these lands?
Stoke is under siege. Yes. I mean, yes. It's under attack intermittently. I think it would be a little bit more accurate. Siege implies it's like been invested by the enemy sitting right outside the gates, which it's not exactly. But it's quicker to say it's under siege. So, sure. Speak to Thane Ordlac at once. Okay. Well, gaining access to the Mead Hall wasn't so hard in the end. Okay. It is like a gingerbread house with candles stuck on the roof. I agree, Edith, that cute little packs of orcs and brigands here and there is siege-ish. Ooh, what really impressive columns for such a small and cute Mead Hall. The columns are decorated, but the walls are stone. So that's forward thinking. There's no fire at all. I mean, okay, there's like braziers against the wall, but dude, how about a nice fire pit in the middle here, right? Like all the cool mead halls have fire pits. So your mead hall is adorable on the outside, freezing cold on the inside, Ordlac.
Welcome, my friend.
Oh, hey. It's seldom that we greet travelers, even from other parts of Rohan. And as you can see, I'm from out of town. May I offer you some wine or ale? Indeed, I was about to sit down to a meal. Would you join me? Well, how polite. This is wonderful. But unfortunately, there's an emergency. I did not think I would see this signet in my lifetime. My father granted it to Edmar, Frithild's husband, to use in the event Stoke needed our aid. Tell me what has transpired that would bring Fríthild to such a need. Siege-ish conditions. It's amazing how we can be so sheltered from the devastation that has befallen our riding, but as I told you, we seldom receive travelers here. Of course, we will begin to muster our meager garrison at once. Oh, come now. I'm sure your garrison is really very impressive in its way. If we are to do so, we will need to coming again. If we are to do so, We will need help ourselves, quelling some small disturbances that have come our way. What with our fighting men being distracted from their duties here. Speak with my chief captain Dudsig, near the stables even. He will know what needs to be done. Do not be put off with his appearance. He is from the Stone Deans. Oh, is he the really intimidating dude? He was a little off-putting, have to admit. But, okay, he is from the Stone Deans, where many have the misfortune to have some part of the wild Dunlending blood mixed in with that of the mark. Oh, well, that doesn't bother me as much. He just looked a little stern, but maybe that's not him. I bet you it is, though. All right, off we go. Yeah, Phil, I don't know where they cook. I mean, maybe they have a little kitchen out back. Maybe that's how they do it. Let's see. Boy, yikes. Yep, I'm pretty sure it's that guy, but hang on, let me, look at that. There's like 3 different, triangles inside each other there. It's a really sort of dense effect. It makes the door seem extraordinarily narrow. I like the red beamed border of the thatch there. Very elaborate roofs you guys have here. You too also have supplies piled around your town, as if you're taking off soon. So this bush, which seems to have been growing here for years, in the middle of the path, is a little puzzling to me. Is that... Oh, right. Okay, right. So there's the Mead Hall. It's a little puzzling to me. Like this one too, same deal. Maybe it's to impede invaders. I certainly find it confusing, so I was right. Okay, Mr. Stone Dean's chap. Dudsig.
What business have you with the row you're in?
You are not from here, that much is clear. You say that Thane Ordlac has requested you to aid us with our troubles. What troubles do you speak of? Ah, Stoke is under siege and Ordlac rallies to Reeve Frithild's aid. Then indeed I have a task for you. We have had some small troubles with brigands here, mainly poor folk from the Stone Deans, I think, in search of food, but they've become dangerous. These wayfarers have stolen food and other goods from the people of Oserley. Perhaps you could reclaim these things. They have been seen encamped in the western fields at sundry times. Reclaiming stolen food from refugees, Dudsig. That's a little hard. But I understand. Given all the supplies you have just lying stacked around town, maybe we could come to some sort of arrangement with them, you know? But let's see. Let's see what we can find. So, where did you say they were? Right. This way. Okay, fine. All right, so here we are, walking through the grass. Oh, there they are. There's their camp. Stealth. Don't really want to fight warg riders. Okay, so Tomas, I'm going to try to read your question before I get to the camp. We were talking last time about the sort of the northern spirit. The resolution to die fighting to the death. Oh, I'm supposed to defeat the brigands. No negotiations available. Just kill them and take back the stuff, huh? Well, I guess when you go to a life of brigandry, that's what happens, I guess. It's hard. Anyway, okay. Tomas says, the resistance to the bitter end and fight to the death against all odds is often described as an example of northern or Germanic courage, but is it so? Every time I hear that, I cannot help but think of a time before Germanic identity was even forged, and in the opposite corner of Europe, the resistance of the 300 Spartans against the Persians in Thermopylae. as the most clear example of this type of courage. Are these values really Germanic per se, or do they correspond more to a certain type of social organization or stage of a civilization that we can call the heroic age, such as in pre-classical Greece? Many other civilizations seem to have crossed this stage at some point. I think that that's interesting, and yes, there certainly are, other societies that have had similar kinds of values. There are two reasons, I would say, that... First of all, when we refer to the northernness, we're actually quoting, I believe, C.S. Lewis. I think that was C.S. Lewis's word for what we were, what we're sort of talking about there. Oh, detected at the last second. That was cruel. But the second thing that I'd say about this is that okay. The second thing I'd say about this is that, so it's just like Tolkien was very interested in the Germanic northern culture, so it was those that he had particularly in mind. So that's one reason why we often talk about this, because when we're talking about Tolkien, we're talking, he was probably not thinking about the Spartans at Thermopylae. He was probably thinking, of the Germanic stuff. But of course, I mean, you're not wrong about other cultures having this thing. But here's the other thing that I would say, though. It's not only the conviction to fight to the death, like to defend your homeland or something like that. That's not... There's more to this sort of northernness thing that that we're referring to when we talk about this stuff. Let me see if I can put my finger on it. I'm not sure that I can, but there's a quality that I would say. There's a quality to this. I mean, again, yes, other cultures do this kind of thing, but there's a flavor to it in the Germanic tradition, which I think is different from the Greek tradition, or from other traditions where, they might have similar kinds of convictions. And let's see, I guess I would characterize that difference as, JJ, I think that's a good way of thinking about it. JJ points out that, he says, my understanding is that the Spartans were hoping that their sacrifice would accomplish something. The Germans would fight without hope. Yes, the relationship to hope, I think, is a really important thing. So, this sort of northern spirit, the kind of more particularly Germanic sort of element of this phenomenon is most marked, like one of the places where you can see it most clearly, actually, in The Lord of the Rings, is in Sam. In Sam in Mordor, during the final approach to Mount Doom, when Frodo is like almost out of commission, with his kind of distraction by the ring. Sam is giving up hope, right? Like near the end, he gives up hope. It's when he like throws away his pots and pans and stuff. And he does this like because he has basically given up hope that he's gonna escape alive. He no longer believes it's gonna happen. Okay, line up, fellas. I think you are the end of all, aren't you? Yep. You're my last brigands, and I've just gotten my last... No, I didn't quite pick up the last goods. Anyway, the description of him when he feels like he's, becoming a creature of horn, the hardening that happens with Sam, the extra strength that he gains from his conviction that he is certainly going to die. That is the thing that's like so characteristic of that northern spirit. If I were a better Anglo-Saxonist, I would be able to recite the line from the Battle of Malden that, of course, Tolkien was thinking of when... can somebody find it for me? You know, that strength, that strength will be the greater, I'm forgetting how it goes. I don't want to quote it wrong. But I know that one of you guys will know the quote I'm talking about. Anyway, that's obviously that line from that poem was very clearly the one that Tolkien was thinking of in that passage with Sam. Again, it's one of the clearest examples of this kind of... Okay, would you get off the horse? Of this kind of thing. Thank you, Edith. Mind must be the stronger, heart the bolder, courage must be the greater, as our might lessens. That's the one. That's the one. Thank you, Edith. That's exactly right. That concept, that... Oh, wait, hang on. It's Dudzig I'm supposed to come to, not to the Mead Hall. Yes. That line is the one that I always come back to in my head when, I can remember it. As the sort of, clearest kind of expression of this kind of spirit. Mind must be the stronger, heart the bolder, courage must be greater as our might lessens. It's not about just being willing to sacrifice yourself or being willing to die in a cause, the stubborn standing against all odds. And those things are, and I love the story of the Battle of Thermopylae, the battle, the 300 at Thermopylae. But it's that that particular flavor that I'm talking about is that this correlation between lack of umdir, lack of hope, lack of optimism about how things are going to turn out, correlating inversely with courage, basically. That is, it seems to me, the essence of this kind of northern spirit that we're talking about. All right, Dutig. I found a note? I didn't realize I found a note. Well, that's handy. Anyway, here's the stuff. I was uncertain that you truly cared about the people you returned. You're just surprised to see me again. It's not just that you're surprised I succeeded. It's you're surprised I even bothered. Boy, Dudzig is sort of particularly pessimistic. I'm glad that I was wrong. Take this reward for your efforts. Okay. What is this? There are few who can read among the people of the Mark, especially among my folk. It is strange that one such as these robbers would bear such a thing. I do not like the tenor of this message. As you might have presumed already, these seem to be orders directing these brigands to stir trouble among us. Look here, it is signed with an S. Could this be the work of Saruman? Well, this is dire news if Saruman seeks to undermine our people. You should take this note to Thane Ordlac. He will wish to know what has transpired. He is young, but he is wise. Okay. A traitor in the midst. More traitors in the midst? Okay. I don't know. Do I have the note in my inventory? No. No, just some stuff. Okay. No, I must have. I must have dropped. There must have been a drop I didn't notice when I defeated a brigand, I assume. The blue plants are lovely, aren't they? I think it's just. I like Oserley. It's a fun little town. Yeah, JJ says it seems like Rohan has more traitors than loyal subjects. Indeed, right? I mean, I actually really like that emphasis of the story, that they're playing the way in which Saruman and his long presence in Isengard, the way that he's been playing the long game for quite some time now. There are worm tongues to be found, right, in other courts. So, yeah, he's been building this web throughout Rohan, right, which is now kind of coming to fruition. So I like that. I think that really sort of shows, you know, I mean, of course, there's the risk in the game that it suggests that the, you know, people of Rohan are easily bought, right? You know, that that very few of the people of Rohan are actually faithful. But I choose to see it instead in a different way, that it really illustrates the depth of the treachery. Saruman was trusted by everybody. Seen as a, you know, ally and neighbor. You know, I mean, he was a big help to Rohan. I mean, he's not the king, but people trust him, and so, you know, it was really a profound betrayal, which is really kind of tearing Rohan apart in some ways. It's not like, you know, a civil war or something, but it really does create that kind of turmoil, and I like that. I also like the leaf pattern texture there on the tapestry. Really nice, Ordlac. You guys have some really fun visual design schemes here in your nice town. Okay, it appears, my friend, that we have a traitor among us. This note implies that one of my retainers may be in league with Saruman. If indeed one of my retainers is a traitor, this could bode ill for any effort we make to bring...
Sorry, I'm having...
Would you be quiet? I'm trying to figure what in that text triggered Siri. This could bode ill for any effort we make to bring aid to Stoke. I will continue my muster, but I must ask you to investigate this villainy. If you would, speak with Cenulf, one of my most trusted lieutenants. I have need of Dudsig's assistance, but Cenulf can guide you during your investigation. Oh, man. I can find him near the mill. Oh, no. Is there trouble down mill? I'll see if there's trouble down at mill. All right, let's see. Are the horses hiding behind another bush? Okay, right, and there's this town, and then I was gonna go. How do I get? No, I just failed to turn around. Okay, so I go down the hill. Here, all right, here's the path. All right, I go down here, and then I hang a left. Okay, just trying to. I mean, I could jump across town, but I like to see the layout, which is hard to follow because of how overgrown the. I mean, like, this totally looks like a dead end, but it's not a dead end. It leads instead to a dead end, but further down the road, you see. It is not quite so precipitous a dead end as it looks like at first. Boy, it's hard for burglars to escape their cunning mazes. Okay, there's a very highly decorated but very small and modest house. Okay, all right. This is a cute town. I don't understand why they plant enormous briar bushes in their middle of their paths, but I mean, look at this. It's like a wilderness. Aldburg, you know, looks like a well-manicured garden compared to this place. I mean, I kind of like the au naturel effect, but seriously, your buildings are so adorable that it seems a shame to hide them behind all these bushes. But anyway, okay, I mean, I'm assuming the mill is down by the river. I'm just kind of looking around. All right, here we are. What's this? Okay, we don't know, but that's okay. We don't need to know. On a need-to-know basis as far as that building is concerned. In fact, if there weren't pedestrians in this town, I'd have a hard time knowing even where the paths are some of the time. Oh, here we go. All right, is there trouble down at the mill? Cenulf?
What business have you with the road you're in?
Dudsig told me of the assistance you have already wrought. I will welcome your aid now and grant you any information you need to find the traitor in our midst. If it is true that the orders were given by Saruman the White, then it may be that you can find more information among the half-orc scouts who harry our lands. They ride hither and thither among the plains to the west. Oh, those must be those other non-goblin riders that I saw. Oh, what a bare and desolate mill you have here. The wheel is turning. Is there any actual milling happening here? I like how Cenulf is holding a spear behind his back. You know, I can see it from the front, you know, Cenulf. There's no sense trying to hide that spear. It's not working. All right. Is there a river crossing? Yeah, I think there is. Oh, down in the wood fen? Is right up there where the what are they called? Draugr, the, you know, zombies and such? Nah. Well, what quest just came available here? Yeah, the source of madness. Yeah. I do remember this. Right, something's driving the creatures of the Woad Fen mad. I remember that. I already found out what was driving them mad, because it was those zombie things. Yeah. Okay, sure. Right, yeah, just north of Aoworth, right? That is where I am. Okay, cool. Just good to get my bearings here. That's neat. Can't quite jump the river here, but pretty close. Okay. All right, I'm going to head out and try to find the... Oh, let's see. Hang on. I'm going to have to... This is going to be a little tricky here. Galloping through town, I'm likely to run into all kinds of trouble. You can do it. Come on, Wayward. All right, we're clear. Now. Whoa, whoa, river. Turn. Okay. Now, and it's these dudes, right? Yes, it is these dudes. Okay. JJ has a history question. In a time similar to the Lord of the Rings, how fixed would national borders have been? Did kingdoms establish lines that were clearly their borders, or was it more blurry? I think it has to be a good deal more blurry, JJ. I mean, even maps were, you know, not exactly ordnance survey maps, you know what I mean? So, I think, yes, I think it very likely that they were pretty, approximate. And it's one of the reasons why, you know, there's so often difficulties, you know, around the borders, because you just, you would often have, remember the phrase, Tolkien uses the phrase, a debatable land, right? You know, like and also remember things like the March Wardens, right? The marches, these are going to be these, you know, boundary lands where often I think, you know, the question of like, I mean, who owns them exactly, how far your, you know, official kingdoms, you know, extend, are going to be, you know, kind of in flux, depending on who's holding the land, right? Depending on who's kind of secured it. Let's see, dispatching a nuisance. Oh, there's also the goblin skirmishers. Okay. Well, I'm glad I got a quest for them before I aggroed any of them. Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to decline that one. No, thank you. On the madness. I already know what's making them mad. Okay. All right, so now I just, like, lots of mounted combat. All right. Yeah, Pine Leaf, I agree. Rivers are very nice boundaries. And it is a reason why there... I targeted the fawn. Seriously? Yes, yeah. Rivers, rivers are very common boundaries. And again, if you'll notice, JJ, that's exactly how Tolkien delineates it. That was rude. Let's see. Did you come over here? You're not gonna, are you? Oh man, that was a good throw. You won't stay still and fight me like a polite person, will you? No, you won't. Fine. Is another quest available? Fingers of the White Hand? The leaders of the half-orcs near Oserley are particularly dangerous, attacking without hesitance any who cross their paths. Defeat the leaders of the half-orcs near Oserley, hopefully sending the scouts into chaos. Okay, oh, 2 named dudes, Rakblog and Unaz. Okay. Are they mounted? Don't know. Anyway, JJ, as I was saying, you'll remember Tolkien does this. I'm especially thinking, just as Tony is in the middle of his annual Lord of the Rings reread, I just finished mine a little while back, and I'm in the middle of my Silmarillion reread right now. And I was just reading of Beleriand and its realms the day before yesterday, I think. No, it was a couple days ago now. But anyway, earlier this week, I was reading that. And you'll notice, like all of the kingdoms are described, like sometimes the edge of a forest might be given as a boundary, but it's almost always rivers. Those make a nice clear frontier, and thus are very often used. Okay. How are we doing? 3 and 3, huh? No. Oh, I'm getting credit for defeating orcs and half-orc raiders as well. See there? Glad I held off on that. Okay. Oh, I see one. I don't know where Rakblog and Unaz are, but I guess I'll kind of defeat the other dudes and then see what we think about that. Boy, he really hit the gas. It was going much more slowly a second ago. All right. Oh, there's another guy. Oh, wow. Strong work there, Gryfflet. Don't mess with the deer, though. Okay. No, not the fawns either. Or else you're likely to aggravate every... Hey, it's Rakblog. One of the named dudes. Okay, and here in this titanic struggle... What does he have? Does he have a flag? No, it's an axe. No, it is a flag. He's just like waving a banner at me. Now he's running away. Hoo-hoo. Oh, no hope, dude. Oh, you evade my killing blow? Boom. Got Rakblog. Okay, so I just gotta find Unaz. And still a bunch more. Oh, and I found a note. I love how they carry incriminating evidence. This, by the way, is like one of the reasons... I mean, it's not just that people were illiterate. Like, there's good reasons not to carry around notes of this kind. Okay. Even if you have literate spies, probably better to have them memorizing messages. No, oh, okay, there we go. It's Unaz! Hooray! Yeah, you're fighting me with a banner too, huh? He's not really... He's just trying to escape. I feel like a bit like a bully here. I guess he's doing a little bit of damage now. Oh, but you will come and fight me on while I'm on foot? Fantastic. Thank you for that. That was thoughtful. How about you? You're probably not that thoughtful, because you're a skirmisher. Fine. Come here, skirmisher. Okay. So that's 3 skirmishers, both of the named dudes. All right. Okay, the half-orcs will usually stand still to fight me if I'm on foot. That's good to know. Yeah, autoflagellator, I doubt these guys are employing any form of cryptography. I do. I mean, you're right, JJ. It's not that I'd put that past Saruman exactly. But still. Oop. All right, 2 more of them. 2 more of them, 3 more of the goblins. Good thing that this is not at all tedious. Okay. So, I have been, I've been continuing my, Lovecraft reading, by the way, as well as my Silmarillion read-through again. And I've taken more and more. I've taken to, rather than just like reading one thing at a time, I've been taken to reading like 4 books in parallel. I didn't used to do that as much, but I've been doing that much more lately. You know, like having 3 or 4 books of which I, you know, each read like a chapter or 2 a day, kind of, you know, in rotation. I have like my morning reading and my afternoon reading, you know, kind of thing. Where's that other guy that I will have aggroed? Or maybe I didn't. Maybe he doesn't care. But anyway, so I'm, a torn map from the clutches from my fallen foe, which I apparently did on the fly. It's pretty slick there, Gryfflet. Anyway, yeah, so as I said, I just aggroed the 7th. Fine. Anyway, yeah, so I've been reading more Lovecraft. I just finished the Dream Quest for Unknown Kadath, which is a very long story, and a very odd story. You know, one of the things that I was kind of most amused to find in it was the first rationale I ever have known for distinguishing between ghouls and ghasts in D&D. The fact that, you know, I've never encountered ghasts in any story. Ghouls, yes, but I've never encountered ghasts in any you know, story anywhere outside of Dungeons and Dragons. So that was kind of fun, especially when the ghouls were like in league, you know, with the protagonist of the story against the ghasts, right? That was sort of particularly interesting. But anyway, that was one of my kind of fun moments. I was like telling my son Matthias about that. I'm like, hey, look, I found out what ghasts are at last, or like where they came from. Uh-oh, that guy's got a hat. Is he, no, he's just an archer with red hair. Okay, fine. All right, will you follow me in this direction if I go? Oh, man. This place is suddenly lousy with archers that I don't want to have to fight again. Don't aggro him. Great. Hey, I didn't aggro him. Amazing. It must be because I'm over level, so my aggro radius is small. That's nice. Okay, and I think this is my last dude. Fantastic. Yeah, so I've the Dream Quest of Unknown Kadath is a weird story, like deeply weird. I mean, all of Lovecraft is a little bit weird, but that story I found particularly odd. But I am now more equipped to talk about a subject on which you guys were asking me before, which is the difference between Lovecraft and Tolkien's views of cats, because I now know a good deal more about cats in Lovecraft, having read several different Lovecraftian cat stories. Actually, I guess I should stay on the horse. Yeah. So, and it's interesting because on the one hand, yes, he depicts cats much more favorably. In general, I think you can say that than Tolkien does. But I'm not 100% sure. Like, cats are terrifying in Lovecraft. I mean, like, either whether rallied as a military force, as they are in the Dream of Unknown Kadath, or merely like ganging together to eat people who kill cats in that story about why nobody in that country, whose name I've forgotten already, is allowed, like why the law about not killing cats is in force. Anyway, it's oh, and I'm supposed to go to the guy at the mill again. I keep going to turn in my quest. I just like really want to come in here and talk with Thane again, apparently. Anyhow, yeah, so like there's this story about, you know, why there's it's an explanatory story about why there's a rule in Ugarth or somewhere like that, not like where no one can kill a cat, like it's illegal to kill a cat. And the story goes that there's this like creepy old couple who used to live on the outskirts of town who used to like trap cats whenever they came close, like to delight in killing cats. And then like some kid came into town and he had a cat and like they killed his cat and he like declares this like really ominous curse against them. And then all of the cats of the town rise up and leave their homes that night and they gang together and they kill and eat the creepy old couple who used to kill cats, and they take their vengeance. And then everybody else in the town figures out what happened and they pass the prudent and fearful law that no one must ever kill a cat ever again. The Cats of Ulthar, thank you. Yeah, that's the story of the Cats of Ulthar, the Lovecraft story. So like again, is he more sympathetic to cats? Kinda. I mean, he depicts them as, you don't want to mess with cats in Lovecraft. You want to be on the right side of cats. But that's not the same. He doesn't exactly depict them as like friendly and cuddly, you know? So, you know, I found it interesting. I confess to surprise that you live still, for the foul half-orcs are not without skill. Nevertheless, you have done some good for the Broadacres, even if you found naught upon their remains to implicate the traitor. I should say, well done, and offer you a reward. Okay. Oh, the torn map was for the epic quest. Great. You are mighty indeed to have faced and defeated the leaders of the half-orcs. Is there nothing you fear? Nah, not particularly. Well, cats. I mean, like, fear cats. Again, that's Lovecraft's message. But you found a note upon one of the creatures. Uh-oh, this is not good. You should bring this note to Thane Ordlac at once. It contains information he must see. Do not delay. Okay. Foul intentions. Can I read the note? Do I have it in my... No, that's not what I want. I want this. Do I have it in my possession? Where am I? I'm in the Broadacres. I do. No? Oh, I can't read them. They're not in my inventory. Oh, this new hat is in my inventory. Okay, there we go. I'm wearing my new hat, but apart from that, it is not in my inventory. Okay. Fine. I will head back up to the Mead Hall, not delaying, but this is me not delaying. Not delaying, but heading straight to the Mead Hall. Yeah, Mike, yeah, you're right. Lovecraft wouldn't know cuddly if you gift wrapped it for him. No, you're right. You're right. Okay. All right, Thane. I have an ominous and disquieting note that I am not permitted to read.
Welcome and well met.
I found another note. Ha! These brutes think to murder my wife within my very home? These half-orcs were careless indeed to be carrying these orders upon their persons. Yes, they were. We shall take advantage of this.
Greetings.
How? These oafs dare to consider the murder of my wife, and in my own home no less. Well, we shall just have to make them rue their impudence. Yes, it was imprudent as well. Speak with Dudsig. He shall give you the key to my home. Go to Lufa and stay with her. When the villains come to perform their heinous act, you shall dispatch them. Nay, do not look at me so. Lufa is the daughter of Gisling, and the granddaughter of Gisel, Thane of Garsfeld. My marriage to her sealed the alliance between our houses. How do you think it would look if I were to let her perish? No, wait, you think I'm, criticizing you for saving the life of your wife? Nay, I doubt not your talents, my friend. Okay, so you're pretty trusting. The lady's protector, okay. You're related to the Garsfeld folks. That's wonderful. All right, I got to talk to Dudsig, get the key, hope I'm in time to thwart the murder attempt, which Ordlac seems perfectly content to leave to me. Of course, we still don't know who the traitor is.
Brings you to these lands.
You have the key, and here it is. It is a brilliant plan that my Thane has considered. How best to deal with the situation than to have you confront the villains in his own home. Thane Ordlac's home is just up the road leading to the Mead Hall. Okay, well, which of these lovely homes is his? I bet I did notice it already. It's not this one, right? No. That one's insufficiently lovely. Oh, right, it's the one on the way up, right next to the Mead Hall. Yeah. Right, the one with all the triangular, or the one with the narrow appearing door. Sure. No, not this one. It's on the way up to the Mead Hall, but I guess not. Is it this one? Dude, where's your house? On the way up to the Mead Hall. Those were some bad directions, man. Is this it? Back behind the little one? Is it this one right here? Oh, it's this one right around the corner. He could have just said, that house right there, next door to where we're standing. Fine. Okay. Oh, hey, Luva? Luva, what's up? It would be Luva, because it's a 1F. So you know that, right? Like in Anglo-Saxon, a single F is pronounced as a V, and a double F is pronounced as F. So, Luva, technically. Hi, yeah, I'm the guardian your husband sent. I look shrimpy and wimpy, but don't think that means he doesn't care about your safety. I'm actually much more intimidating than I look. Is he afraid that his trophy might be lost? Ouch. Ooh, it's a little chilly in here. Please do not mind my words. They are born of sorrow. I shall be glad of some company. You wonder why I grieve so. I am recently wed to Thane Ordlac, but here I have not found love. Alas, I must call his home mine, yet I do not recall that he has ever come to this house since we were married. What? He's never entered his own house? Truly, even did he show his love for me, I do not think I would be consoled, for my heart does not care for him as it should. Would you bring me a cup of wine from the table? If you are willing to hear my tale, then I shall need the refreshment to soothe my thirst. Okay, this is like TMI, Luva. TMI, but okay. You need somebody to listen, I'll listen. I'm going to pour yourself a tall one here. He did send me to protect you, though perhaps you don't think that's a particularly loving sign. Okay. If you wish to know why I grieve so as the wife to a young and handsome Thane, it is because my heart belongs to another. Ooh, dear. I am only wed to Ordlac because my father desired an alliance with Oserley. I do not think my father would have promised me to Ordlac if he knew the lonely life I would lead here, but it's done now. Ordlac visited Garsfeld often in the past, ingratiating himself to my grandfather Gryfflet. One day, not long before the orcs began openly roaming the mark, he came professing his love for me and asking for marriage. Oh dear. My father Gisling believed that Ordlac was sincere and saw in our union the opportunity for an alliance against the orcs. He granted Ordlac my hand. What my father did not understand is that my heart already belonged to Torfirth, son of Thane Ordlac of Torsbury. Oh dear. I begged father not to require me to wed Ordlac, but it was to no avail. He told me that I was young and that I would learn to love the Thane as he loved me. Alas, since I came to this place, Ordlac has put me aside with seeming indifference, like a trophy for the wall. I do not recall him even visiting this home that is supposed to be ours. How can I learn to love a man who has rent my heart from my breast and left me a lonely and hollow shell of a woman? The worst part is that Torfirth believes that I married Ordlac willingly. When he learned of our marriage, he was angered, believing I had betrayed him. There have been moments when I felt I would rather die than continue in this miserable life. Oof, dear. That's hard. So, your beloved lives in Torsbury, huh? Have you seen my map, Luva? Yeah. Right, I do understand why you grieve. And by the way, know your father Gisling got him off a false accusation down in Sudbury. So, you know, looking out for the family. Friend of the family, maybe you didn't hear. I will abide by my father's wishes, for I love him and would not be disobedient, even for my own sake, but I begin to feel like I will become old and from sorrow and loneliness before my time. I do have one request to ask of you, though. If you continue to Torsbury, as you say you must, would you bring this, my favor, to Torfirth? Oh, okay. He thinks me unfaithful, and I wish him to know that my heart still belongs to him. Okay, this is so inappropriate. I mean, he's probably dead, but still it's awkward. Love tokens from another dude's wife, like, you might want to leave me out of this, even though we may never fulfill our heart's desires. Okay. No, okay. Exactly, as the Middle-earth turns. Edith. Do you think it true that the enemy shall attempt to take my life tonight? Yes. It would be good to know that you will remain with me then. Will you stay and guard the door? You're not the traitor, are you, Luva? I would not like to think that you're the traitor. Will you check the door and windows after I retire? Perhaps if they are secured, you will have no need to risk your life on my behalf. Okay.
Brigands out of the Stone Deans plot to murder Lady Lufa, the young wife of Thane Ordlac of Oserley. The Thane has devised a plan of his own that appears to heartlessly use his wife as bait for the trap.
Okay. Secure the windows and the door, huh? How do I do that? Check the ones up here. Heartlessly using his wife as bait. Okay, I kind of thought he was nobly sending me to defend her. Oh, she's sleeping. Okay. Sorry. Fortunately, hobbits are super quiet. Okay. They're locked. Great. Wow. Okay, that was quick. Got some brigands here. All right. I guess secured was a little bit, rash. I found a dagger covered with a slimy black substance. That's no good. Well, they broke in with what looked like a poisoned dagger.
Time is short.
Is that all of them? Are there any hiding in the shadows? Don't know. Luva? I did save your life. How may you repay me? Oh man, this is getting even more complicated. Okay. Let's not speak in terms of repayment,
Time
Luva.
is short.
I cannot thank you enough. Had you not come, I would certainly have perished.
Evil stirs in the shadow.
Perhaps I have misjudged Ordlac. Maybe. I did not think him capable of caring for anyone other than himself, and even less capable of truly loving anyone, including himself. But perhaps I was wrong. Wait, I have to stop. I have to think that through and see if it comes out to a compliment. Maybe would he send someone... Why would he send someone so bold and valiant to protect me if he did not have some spark of compassion within him? I do not believe I ever will love him, but perhaps there is hope that my grief and loneliness may be lessened in the days to come. Return now to Dudzig and let him know that you have done your duty. The brigands are vanquished and I am safe. He will want to see that dagger as well, I think. Okay. The lady's gratitude, of which Gryfflet wants no intimate familiarity. Okay. Gryfflet thinks the Lady Luva's love life is sufficiently complicated already. I startled you. I thought I'd seen a spirit. What, did you think me dead? Did you think the brigands were... The brigands have been put down and Lady Luva is safe? That is well. For if she had perished, we would likely have seen war with Garsfeld. Now let us see that dagger. The poison upon the blade is secreted by the slugs that dwell in the marshes to the east. It is quite deadly and must be collected with much care. Have the slugs gone mad? And does their madness influence the poison? Perhaps that is where the leader of these brigands skulks. If so, he should be dealt with. Perhaps if you were to dispatch him, his followers will return to the Stone Deans and leave us in peace. Okay. And maybe he will reveal the real traitor. Hope it's not Dudzig. But he seemed a little jumpy. Didn't he seem a little jumpy? Oh, I was just about to head to the Mead Hall again because I love heading to this Mead Hall. Like, it is... okay, those marshes. Great. I will head over to those marshes then. Now, like Leobot, it is possible that the trader is the one who is in charge of the highways and byways and is letting all the weeds grow in order to destroy the morale of the town. That would be a devious, cunning plot. Okay, all right. I am heading... Yes, I am heading into the marshes. Keeping an eye out. Let me wear my invisibility. Oh, the snag fen. That's nice. Wait a second. Why can't I wear my hat? Why am I not permitted to wear my hat? I don't understand. Is anyone... Why is this grayed out? I don't understand. While I am hunting for the leader of the brigands, I might assist the people of Oserley by clearing the poisonous slugs out of the marshes. Okay. I was afraid that was going to happen. In which case, I'm going to dismount because attacking slugs from horseback is perfectly ridiculous. Okay. All right, so I'm going to attack... Oh, that must be the dude. There he is. Filth and corruption. All right. Where are the slugs? Yeah, no, I'm not picking blackberries. I'm supposed to be hunting, like, poisonous slugs, but there's a fox. Maybe the slugs have already gone. Oh, there's one. A mature marsh slug. Well, I'm glad I'm not, you know, confronting an immature slug. Man, these things are really rather disturbing. Oh, man. He keeps not dying when I expect him to die. Okay. Uh-oh. Another quest. A crabine quest. Well, a crow quest, anyway. There we go. Yeah, I think I'm completely out of lore questions. Maddened marsh crows from the Woadfen have crossed the Entwash into the marshes east of Oserley, attacking everything they see. You should drive off the Draug-maddened marsh crows from the marshes. Is that what they call them, marsh crows? Yeah, it probably is. Is that Eowyrth right there? No. I'm looking back at... No, I am looking at Eowyrth. I am not far from disquieting tightropes, I bet you. Okay, marsh slugs and marsh crows. And that Eldnoth chap, whom I'm now moving away from, I know. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the tower that I refused to climb. Right. Uh-oh, it's an immature marsh slug. I'm now picking on junior marsh slugs. Oh, dear. Oh, they count. No, they don't count towards my quest. Okay, only mature marsh slugs, I guess, or... No, only more proximate marsh slugs. It's the crows I need over here. Okay. So here I found all these slugs, but these are not the right sort of slugs. Okay. Kind of fun to just run into Eowyrth right there on the other side of the river. All right, and there's another crow. Okay. So... Yeah, exactly. Those are not the slugs I'm looking for, apparently. Where did that campsite go again? I've lost my bearings in the marshes. Oh, there it is. See, this is where I miss my guardian, when he just run around and aggro like 5 of them and kill them all at once. Oh, there's a marsh horse. Eldnoth. Are you the villain responsible? I guess I'm just going to stab you in the back and find out afterwards. Friend of the Foregoyle. Oh, well, that's a bit of a giveaway, isn't it? Yes, I am proud friend of the Strawheads. You don't look especially done lending, though. Don't you have any tats or anything? You know, a little face tattoo action? No? Or did he have a... Oh, fell back into the fire. Hope he didn't have a note I was supposed to recover. Okay. Oh, this shabby little tent. Where are the slugs I'm... Huh? Slugs in this very narrow area. Okay, yeah. Here's one of the slugs that I'm looking for. Okay, likely about, let's see. What do I suppose schooling is like in the Shire? Individual tutoring, as the gaffer seems to suggest, or is there a little schoolhouse somewhere teaching children their letters? Great question. We talked about this actually a little bit in Exploring the Lord of the Rings when we were discussing the that passage with the gaffer. Obviously, Sam, was not getting schooling, right? So he was from Mr. Bilbo, but he was not like due formal schooling. So the question is, does it not exist in the Shire, or was Sam just not invited to it? Because he's working class. It's clear that the gaffer not only does not himself value learning, but actually is sort of dubious about it, right? Meaning no harm, right? He has to reassure his neighbors that when Mr. Bilbo taught Sam his letters, that Mr. Bilbo did not in fact do it with malicious intent. Because you can't assume that, right? You can't assume, learning might be done with malicious intent, and the gaffer says that he hopes no harm comes of it. Anyway, yeah, so I don't think that there was standard schooling. It's not a real common thing. And I think that, there is the sense that not only lore in a more kind of esoteric sense, like elvish lore, but even learning in a more kind of mundane context is both unusual and kind of individual, right? Something that's sort of obtained from a particular source or handed down to a particular thing. Now, Edith, you're right. The one thing that would argue, that's a really strong argument in favor of some kind of breadth of education in the Shire, is the postal service. There was sufficient literacy. Now, we're told that by no means all hobbits were lettered, but those who were wrote letters constantly. So there's a high volume, even if there is a sort of small total group, of literate hobbits. And I talk about this quite a bit. Literacy, right? One of the things I always strive to remind people is that literacy in older cultures does not mean what literacy means in our culture. Someone who is illiterate in our culture is at an extreme disadvantage when it comes to, work options, when it comes to life options. Like, it's very, very difficult to be illiterate in our world. And so, people equate illiteracy not only with being uneducated, but even being, foolish or stupid. That is an association I hear people seem to make all the time. Like when they talk about people in the Middle Ages being illiterate, and they're like, "Oh, see how dumb they must have been." But that's not at all the case. In an oral society, you do not need to be literate. The Gamgees have no call for literacy. Literacy would merely be a distraction. They don't even need it for lore. They can be look at Sam's recitation of Bilbo's Gil-galad poem, right? Mr. Bilbo taught him that poem. Like, he learned that poem from Mr. Bilbo. Mr. Bilbo told him, like, recited that poem to him, and Sam learned it by heart. And remember Sam's reaction when he hears the Moria poem from Gimli, right? He really likes the Khazad-dûm poem. And what does he say to Gimli? He says, I like that. I should like to learn it. By which he means I should like to memorize it so that I can recite it. Not, I should like to read it, or I should like to write it down. Sam, telling a tale means, telling it, not just reading it. So yeah, I mean, that's what it was about. Reading is not even really a necessary part, either of learning or of certainly of tale-telling, and certainly of poetry recitation. Now, I don't doubt that the Gil-galad poem that Sam recites was part of Mr. Bilbo's, pedagogical, program there in the Shire, and I suspect that Sam is not the only young hobbit that Mr. Bilbo has taught. But anyway, but the question is not just about literacy. The question is also about, I like being able to hit a crow with a dagger from really far away. I don't know if a craftsman would need to be literate to prepare bills of materials. Like, would they have written that stuff? I don't know that they would have done. Those kinds of transactions were done without paper records for a long time. Yeah, Edith, I agree. Even among the upper classes, literacy was optional, and it was optional chiefly because again, you didn't need it. You didn't need it for legal reasons. As long as you had somebody who could read the things to you, you didn't need it for literature reasons. All you needed was somebody who could, read things to you. And I know that sounds sort of lazy, but remember that one of the effects of an oral culture, which I value very much, and I think that, other people valued and modern people value too little, in my opinion, is the communal element of an oral culture, right? Like, literature needn't be a private matter. A mere, literature need not be what a man does with his solitude. Just like a person reading a book silently by themselves, was not anyway in the old days, the model for what it meant to consume literature. It was, sort of first and foremost a communal thing. You'd be listening to, reading stories to people and listening to stories with people. That's, what it's about. That's how it works. It's a large part of the pleasure, I would have thought. So, anyway, it's, in a lot of ways, I think, wow, leveled up to 95, huh? The slaying of the slug did the thing, apparently. Anyway, yeah, I think literacy is a touch overrated. Uh-oh, I'm summoned by Éowyn. I should meet Éowyn in Dunharrow, but I'm meeting her in Meadowseld also. Okay. Well, I'll meet Éowyn in the other place after I meet her in the one place. introduction to West Gondor. Yeah, I'm not ready for West Gondor yet. So where is that? Mission? No. Special? No. Burglar? I have no idea where that quest lives. Oh. Volume 4, of course. Of course. Well, let's finish Volume 3 first, shall we? Okay. All right, so now I can go back to Dunsig and tell him I killed lots of slugs. Hang on, I should probably stop my leveling now that I'm 95. Okay, yep, Stone of the Tortoise time, exactly. All right, now which direction am I facing? Towards the river. I want to get back to town. Okay. So anyway, I still think, even with, though again, Edith, as I said, your point about letter writing is a very good one. And, you know, one could potentially conclude that education was reasonably widespread given the number of literate folks that there do seem to be in the Shire. I still rather think not. I think that I still think it more likely that people are just learning at home. And this is one of the things I think. I come back to the Gaffer, right? I always think of those lines from the Gaffer when I'm thinking about the status of education in the Shire. What harm exactly does the Gaffer forebode might potentially come from Sam learning his letters? Distraction from his duties, getting above himself, getting above his station, in some ways potentially. But I wonder if it's not, in taking him in and learning him his letters, is Mr. Bilbo treating Sam in a sort of familial way? Is it more like something that would be done to a son or a cousin or something like that? I mean, is that the sort of the kind of, is there some kind of breach in the sort of social order? Not just class-wise, if you see what I mean. Bilbo does seem to like to teach. And I think Tony and I were talking about this at Magnolia Moot, weren't we, Tony? I think talking about the phases of Bilbo's career, right? That our theory was when Bilbo returns from his journey, for a while, he's in like the exploring frame of mind, right? He meets Gildor, and he doesn't, he doesn't like go back to the Lonely Mountain very soon, but he's like still going on journeys and visiting with elves and stuff like that, right? In the Shire, but that and I think he does go back to Rivendell on occasions, but that then when Frodo and his generation begin to grow up, Bilbo kind of adopts this more, not only kind of more paternalistic role, but more pedagogical role. Like he becomes the teacher. He begins to sort of set himself. He's still acquiring lore himself, acquiring knowledge, acquiring familiarity with the elves and with their lore. And then he begins to teach and to think about teaching, especially to the younger generations of hobbits who are too ignorant of elves and elvish lore. Hence the Gil-galad was an elvish king, which does sound like a poem you would write for children.
that it seems to be, a learning poem that Sam was taught in order to help him learn the story, probably when he was fairly young, to learn the story and to remember it about Gil-galad, which you'll notice Merry and Pippin don't have, right? They were raised and educated, presumably within their noble families. But Sam got taught by Mr. Bilbo. So when they're asking, do you know anything more about Gil-galad? Sam is the one who knows, because he's been taught by Bilbo and thus has more elvish lore than Merry and Pippin have, even though they clearly have education and are lettered. Anyway, okay. Dudsig. I survived the marshes? Pfft, yeah. With all the poisonous slugs, I was not sure one unaccustomed to these lands would have come out. It was a little tedious searching for them, but... You keep being surprised. Are you trying to get me killed? Is that the point? Thane Ordlac will want to thank you for your services himself. He awaits you in the Mead Hall. Do not keep him waiting long, for his summons arrived before you. I have unfortunate suspicions about Dudsig. I'm probably going to show up, and Thane Ordlac is going to be like, what? I didn't summon you. Yeah, Phil, exactly. He seems kind of disappointed that I keep surviving. Yeah. And now he's thinking up an even more unpleasant and dangerous place to send me. I was really hoping it was not going to be Dudsig. I must thank you for saving my dear wife and putting an end to the brigand threat. Your efforts were unexpectedly valiant and deserving of this reward. What, a copper ring? Okay. Sure. Maybe a brass ring. Nah. Copper it is. My muster is complete. I have not a large force, but my garrison is prepared to march to Stoke's defense. I suggest you make for Torsbury at once. I feel like things are still unresolved here, though, Ordlac. And we have to have an awkward conversation about your wife. My garrison is prepared to march. Okay, I suggest make for Torsbury. They are likely to be in more dire straits than Oserley. Yeah, my map suggests so. I would take as straight a route as you may, for you will not want to come there too late. I shall send Dudsig with a handful of my finest warriors to assist at Torsbury. Oh, that may end badly, while I myself lead the remainder of my garrison to Stoke. Okay, so I guess by going to Torsbury, I'm gonna... When I come to Torsbury, I should deliver Lufa's favor to Torfirth. Should I, though? Okay. Okay. Oh, look at that. Look at the time. Just don't have time for Lady Lufa's favor today. That is so sad. Okay. So I've got a torn map of Stoke to hand in. I guess I'll go to Torsbury first, though, and do that when I come back. All right, so yeah, no, it's off to Torsbury. Maybe my map is just a foreboding of what may or may not come. Perhaps the burned out shell of Torsbury that appears on my map is but a foreboding of a future which may be, but which may possibly still be avoided as long as no one turns aside to prevent it. Well, perhaps. We'll see. Okay. All right. I have so many bad feelings about Torsbury. I am greatly dreading... Not that I'm dreading my next week's stream with you, because I'm totally not. But I'm dreading Gryfflet's trip to Torsbury. Well, we shall face it together, shall we? Next week, I will return. I'll be back next week. By the way, I wanted to announce, in case you haven't heard the announcement, we are doing in-person Mythmoot this year. We have definitely decided that. It's going to be a hybrid experience, so that we're going to be working as hard as we can fully to integrate folks who are only able to attend digitally. So we're going to make it as dynamic a hybrid experience as we possibly can, but we are opening the doors at our traditional venue down in Virginia, Leesburg, Virginia, at the National Conference Center. So we're definitely doing that, and I am so excited. I am so excited to get together with folks again at last, and this is going to be really, really cool. Got my first vaccine shot on Tuesday, so I'll be vaccinated before the end of the month, and really excited to see folks again down at the National Conference Center. So just wanted to encourage people to look into this. Go to signumuniversity.org/Mythmoot, and you can find all of the information about Mythmoot and the registration. Now, registration for the in-person version is not available yet. We're finalizing the pricing to make sure we're working things out with the venue now that we've made our final decision. But we're definitely going to be there, and I am so glad. I know, we're not supposed to say that the pandemic is over yet, and I know there's still, we must still be careful and vigilant and all that kind of thing, and it's totally true. But for me personally, the main sort of deprivation of the pandemic will be over when we're doing moots again. So Mythmoot is going to be, to me, Mythmoot is going to be like the beginning of the post-pandemic world. So I'm very, very excited about that. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining me, and I will see you guys again next week. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.